Scripties. Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 6 of Scripts and Screens. I'm Ashana Robinson.
And I'm Imani Nicole.
What's tea, Imani?
All right. Let me clear my throat for this. Oops, I did it again. I played with you. Who sings that, Ashana?
Britney Spears. Oh my God.
I didn't hear who you said it was. Who sings it?
Britney.
Yep. Bingo. The one and only Britney Spears. So on August 1st, Britney tweeted, and she basically blew up Twitter with this tweet. She said, excited to share with my fans that I've been working on a secret project with Mark Platt. He's always made my favorite movies. Stay tuned. So, Platt has produced some iconic movies over the years, including Legally Blonde, La La Land, and the upcoming film Wicked. Variety reported that the secret project that they're working on is a biopic based off her memoir, The Woman in Me, which was very controversial when it first came out, because that's when it was alleged that Justin Timberlake forced her to get an abortion. So the film is in early stages. Allegedly, Universal has been said to won the bid. And the director from Crazy Rich Asians, and as well as the upcoming film Wicked, John M. Chu, is supposed to be a part of the project as well.
Okay.
Are you excited for this? And are you Team Britney?
Yes. Only recently have I returned back to being Team Britney, though. Avery is now in her pop era. Like, she loves Taylor Swift, Bieber, Chris Brown, Drake. So, like, I've added some Britney songs to her playlist because, that's, And it made me remember, like, Britney really was that girl. And a lot of her songs do sound alike. Like, but I guess if it works, then you might as well keep going with it. Because what two was it? It was like, oops, I did it again. And then hit me, baby. Like, it literally is the same song. Yeah, it's like the same. Yeah. But I'm excited for this because I feel like biopics, they always show like a different side of the person versus what we know. And I also think it's good that they're doing it while she's still alive so she can have a say to make sure it doesn't look crazy.
Yes, which I think is very important.
Are you excited?
So yes, I'm excited. I will say Britney has not had me invested since like, give me more. And that was in high school. I was indifferent about her until late. I noticed she was like dancing crazy on Instagram and like the whole legal situation with her family. But this I'm actually excited for because Britney can act. I don't know if you remember the movie Crossroads, and it has like the infamous scene where like one of her friends was pregnant and like falls down the steps and like loses her baby. But like Britney is a really good actress. And that movie had me in a chokehold. So one of the things that I'm wondering about is who do you think they'll get to play Britney?
Okay, well, the first person that comes to mind, I think it's only because she dressed up as Britney Spears one year for Halloween, is Sabrina Carpenter. But with this going, I think it would be really good for them to find like a less known actress that actually looks more like Britney. Still a talented one, but one that looks more like her. But who would you think?
Right. So that's hard. I have to really think about that, and I feel like it's got to be someone young,
right.
Oh my gosh. I know who it should be. Do you watch Outer Banks on Netflix?
I don't.
Okay, so there's this girl. It's Madeline Klein, and she plays Sarah Cameron on Outer Banks, and like literally, they look like she could play Britney, but she can't sing. So I understand Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter can sing her ass off, but I feel like for a Britney biopic, they should just use Britney's voice. She's just gonna have to lip sing it, and go from there. But I think Madeline Klein would be perfect. But I do feel like there will be a lot of pushback with this film. And I hate that because I want all the tea. Like I want Brit to give us even things that weren't in the book. And I just feel like Justin is going to send out a cease and desist because forcing the world's beloved pop star to get an abortion, especially in this era where everyone is like team women, like we are on women's sides about women's rights and all that, which was like one of the biggest revelations to the book, combined with his recent DWI, it just doesn't look good. So I feel like right now he's trying to keep it cute and clean, and like he can't take any additional hits to his already kind of declining public persona.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like he is going to hit her with a cease and desist real quick. I can see it. And I have mixed feelings about that because, like, I can see him wanting not to, like you said, he already is on a decline. I don't even know the last time he's made a song or anything.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know where he been at. He was really hot at one point in time, but
he
now
was.
it's just like, okay, it's Justin Timberlake. So I can kind of see how he wouldn't want that, but at the same time, it's like that is Britney's truth, and she should have the space to speak it. Like, if it happened, I should be
It
able to say
happened.
it. It happened to me. It's not like it's your story I'm trying to tell. It literally happened to
Right.
me. So yeah, I feel like he needs to stand on business. Don't be ashamed now. I mean, come on now, Justin. Might as well just
No,
let
I
it go.
agree.
But I'm pretty sure he's gonna hit her with a cease and desist. If he doesn't,
1,000%.
I'll be very surprised if he doesn't.
Me
Very
too. I'll be
surprised.
surprised too.
Mm-hmm. But good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Moving on to this week's Hot and Pop picks. So the first one was The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, which is about Vicaria, a brilliant teenager who believes death is a disease that can be cured. After the brutal murder of her brother, she embarks on a dangerous journey to bring him back to life. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 85% and 5.4 was its rating on IMDb. So this movie to me basically was a modern day Frankenstein with Black people. Vicaria was literally jump starting people in the hood back to life. Like she literally was hooking up dead bodies and jump starting them like a car. It was crazy. It was crazy. I do appreciate this movie because it was, even though it was loosely based on Frankenstein, it offered like a different approach to the story, like with the setting and the characters. What did you think about it? Did you like it? How you
So
feel?
in the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
Vicaria is that how you say it? Because she was correcting her teacher. Is it Vicaria or Vicaria?
I think it's Karia.
Okay, Vicaria is telling her
Yeah.
that death is the disease and cancer is the symptom, and the
Mm-hmm.
teacher pronounces her name wrong. And like I agree with you that like it gave me like a different thought process because I never thought of like death being a disease. I look at it like death is death. Like you die, like that's a result of a disease is that you die,
right?
not that it's flipped.
Yeah, the result.
So I did think that part was interesting. And like one of the scenes that stood out to me is when the teacher pronounces her name wrong and she corrects her. And the teacher says, well, I'm just going to call you Vicky because that's easier.
Mm-hmm.
I thought of you, myself, and like a lot of other people that just have like names that maybe aren't your typical Emily, Emma, Kyle, like really easy to pronounce and see. And they will come up with something that's easier for them. Like, oh, I'm just going to call you V or CJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know, like, how do you feel about that? Do you correct people or is it more like it's not that serious?
Before I do answer that, I do want to put, when her dad came to school with that same principal, I loved how he stood 10 toes down with
I love that
Vicaria.
too.
I think that was some good representation because I feel like lots of times in these movies, especially movies that are set in the hood, it always shows like an absent father. But he was there. He was like, no, my daughter is smart. You need to just do your job and teach her. And how can we start applying to colleges? So I did appreciate him for that. Now,
And you
answering
know,
your question,
with you saying that, it just reminds me of how I feel like our parents, like Black parents especially, like whenever they got that call from the school, it was never standing 10 toes down for us. It was like, what the hell did you do? And when we get home, we're gonna handle it.
Yeah. Well, no, one time I failed this test. It was the first time I failed
Oh
a test.
hell.
And my parents called the school and said, no, she need to retake it because that ain't right. And the teacher let me retake it. Like,
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah.
let me find out that you had some
Yeah.
parents like Vicaria. My parents are always like, what the hell did you do? I was always on eggshells, like, oh, don't call my daddy. Don't call my daddy, please.
Yes. So, but to answer, my name is spelled a little differently than how it's pronounced. So I don't expect people to pronounce it correctly on like the first look. So I do genuinely try to correct people, but then sometimes I just don't have the energy or I find it unnecessary. Like if I'm at Starbucks, I normally just tell them my last name, Robinson. Or if it's like someone I'm never going to see again, like a delivery person. Are you Ashna Robinson? Yeah, that's me. Like, I don't feel the need to correct that. Like, just give me my package.
No, literally.
But if someone were to ask to shorten my name, like, my family calls me Shawnee, you guys call me Shawnee.
Yeah.
But if somebody was like, how about I call you something else? I think that would piss me off. But
Right.
I've been like, oh, you can call me. You can call me.
Yeah,
Shawnee.
like you gotta initiate it.
Right. But if you try to just be lazy, then no. But how do people, it's so crazy that people mispronounce their name. Like, How?
So because it's Imani, but a lot of people call me
Mhm.
Amani, I'm Annie. Like they be
Oh.
saying all kinds of crazy things, but I don't correct them. Like a lot of people call me Amani. Like they be like Amani, but it's
Mhm.
Imani. Like my name is Imani.
Mhm.
But and it's like you said, it's misspelled a lot too. Like, some people spell it with the E, some people spell it with the A, some people spell it with the I. Some people
Oh.
spell it Emoni, which I've seen people write my name like that so many times. So like
Mhm.
when I go to Chick-fil-A and things like that, IJ. Let's just make it simple.
Yeah.
IJ.
So
So
crazy.
yeah, I'm not correcting you. I'm confused. Like sometimes like, how did you get that from that? Like I'm Annie. Like, how did you get that from
Mhm.
that? But whenever people say you can just call me a nickname, I always ask them, well, what is your name? Like, I want to at least make
Yeah.
an effort to know like what
Yeah.
your name is. And I'd be like, a lot of times I'm like, that is not that hard, girl. I can pronounce that. Like, I will
Mhm.
call you by your name.
I
Like, it's
love
not
calling
that
somebody
difficult.
their government name. I love calling
No,
somebody their
literally.
government name.
No, literally. Me too. And if it's
Yes.
long and got a little je ne sais quoi to it, I
Mhm.
love that.
Yep.
So as you scripties know, we love a good Reddit thread. And
Mhm.
user early box 6148, I don't want to even know what inspired that, said that they were Reddit names. Like I don't even
Not
know
not
the
the early
formula.
box. Not the early box.
Right. Like what is a late box? I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to know. I'm so confused. And a lot of Reddit names really throw me off. But they were pissed off at how she was scared of Chris from the very beginning and how she
Mhm.
pretended he didn't exist and she was the one to call him a monster first. What do
Mhm.
you think about this?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. She was literally stealing bodies from all over the neighborhood. Um, the fact that they were calling her the body snatcher, like they thought it was somebody else. Like that's how many bodies she was taking from the hood when they dropped. And she was just she was literally missing assignments at school, like doing all of this to make a shell of her brother. Like it wasn't even him. And
Right.
I don't see how she could look at him all deformed like that and still like proceed to do what she did. But I was confused as to why she was confused as to why this creation was not acting like a normal person like she expected. She was
Like be
very
for real.
smart. Yeah, like she was so intelligent that I'm like, girl, you cannot be this dense. Like you created a
Right.
monster.
Oh,
Yeah, how did you
literally.
feel?
I felt like that too. Like, girl, you literally put this all in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like your dad died because of you, not anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
because of you. And we
Mm-hmm.
need to figure out what illness you have besides delusion. Because
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like it just didn't make sense. Like she was acting confused, but it's like, girl, you just use your brother's head. He's got Tyrone's arm,
Yeah.
Victor's liver,
Yeah.
DeAndre's spleen. Like he's a whole combination of people. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in Frankenstein, like his creator tried to teach him like what's right,
Right.
what's wrong, and she
Right.
didn't do that. And
Yeah.
I feel like in his initial introduction, even when he killed the first person, I felt like he was trying to protect her. Like I don't really feel
Mm-hmm.
like it was just like, oh, all I want to do is kill. I feel like it was like he felt
Right.
like she was in a
Right.
compromising predicament, so he did what he felt he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like the another thing that was really odd about this was the Chris's girlfriend's daughter was so unbothered by
Oh,
blood.
Jada, her little sister. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
by everything. And I
In my
was just
notes,
like,
I would have to square it with Jada because you could tell Vicaria was scared. Vicaria, I'm sorry, don't cuss me out, Vicaria. I'm
no,
messing you up like the
literally.
teacher. But you could tell she was scared. Again, we're confused on why she was scared. But Jada just was like, my friend Chris is here. Like something straight out of a
Yeah.
horror movie. Now I would have to fight that little girl. No, no, no.
Yeah, we need to get her looked at as well
Yeah.
because something is just not right.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
felt like Vicaria had this new age way of thinking, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
theme of the movie to me. Like nothing we know is as it seems. And you saw that in the beginning of the film with that flip on cancer being a symptom and
Mm-hmm.
death being the actual disease. And then at the
Mm-hmm.
end when she's saying people made him a monster, like he wasn't a monster, it was because people called him
Mm-hmm.
one and treated him like one is why he was a monster, which I
Mm-hmm.
disagree with because at the end of the day, you can call me whatever you want. I have control over my body and what I say and what I
Right.
do.
Right.
So I wanted to know, what did you think the film was, or what they were like trying to get at, what the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
was about?
I didn't do a Reddit dive on this one. I didn't do my due diligence, but I believe this was trying to be more of a woke film. I think it was like
Mm,
trying to talk about like the dehumanization of black men in the hood. That's what I believe
Well,
they were
that's a good
getting at.
point.
Um, yeah, I think so. Because even like, I wrote down this quote from the little boy. What
Mhm.
was his name? Jalen. No, Jerome. I'm sorry. And she was telling him, "The mind and body are beautiful things, Jerome. Don't waste or destroy them." And then Jerome said, "Well, who is stopping someone from destroying mine?" So,
Mm.
yeah, I think it was trying to call, towards the violence, whether it be other black men dehumanizing their black brothers, like with the gangs
Right,
or the
right.
police. So I think that was the overall theme, like put together with this Frankenstein.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah. So, what would you rate it?
All in all, I must say,
Mhm.
what the hell did you have us watch? This was a mess. This was a mess to me. Like, someone is getting paid under the table at Rotten Tomatoes to give it that
Mhm.
high of a rating. In my opinion, this is nowhere near the percentage they gave it.
Mhm.
And the concept was interesting, but the delivery was poor, and I felt like it was put together poorly.
Mhm.
And the acting, oh my God,
Mhm.
the acting was not good. It was a mess. I've seen better on Tubi. No shade to Tubi because Tubi has
Mhm.
some great movies. Cinnamon is a Tubi original, and I
I was
love
just thinking
that.
about that. You love that
I
movie,
love
Cinnamon, but it's a really
Cinnamon.
good movie, though.
Cinnamon was so good. So I just feel like I'm more with IMDb on this one. The 52% is where I would put it. It
Mhm.
was an F for me.
Mhm.
What would you give it?
So for the budget that they have for the film, because we're used to doing like $1 million, $1 billion budgets, and this was a
That's
little bit
very
over
true.
100,000. So for what they had and what they worked with, I think it was pretty good. I know because they probably didn't have the money to pay the actors, like to get the quality actors that they probably wanted.
Yeah.
Um, mm, I'd probably give it around the same 50-ish.
Yeah.
50-ish. Now, if they had a bigger budget and it still was the same, no, they knew better. But for it being like an independent project,
Right.
I think, I ain't gonna rate it too harshly. Like I like what they were trying to do,
Yeah.
the concept. But
It's a
yeah,
good
you can
idea.
tell. Yeah, you can tell. So yeah, that is Angry Girl and Her Monster. So moving on to our second one.
Yes, our second plot and pop pick is Love Lies Bleeding, which is
Mm-hmm.
streaming currently on HBO Max. And this stars Kristen Stewart, Ed Harris, Dave Franco, and Katie M. O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about Lou, who's played by Kristen Stewart, is a reclusive gym manager who falls hard for Jackie, which is played by Katie M. O'Brien, an
Mm-hmm.
ambitious bodybuilder who's heading to Las Vegas to pursue her dream. Their love soon leads to violence as they get pulled deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. Rotten
Mm-hmm.
Tomatoes gave this a 94%, and IMDb gave it a 6.7 out of 10. This was like when I read the film and the description, the way it went was not at all how I thought the movie was going to go.
Girl, I ain't know what I was looking at.
It was so weird and different, and it's considered neo noir,
Mm-hmm.
which a romantic thriller. Um, and I had to look up that because I didn't know what neo noir meant, and it
Mm-hmm.
basically is like low lighting, and it revolves around crime centric storylines. And some examples are like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I actually love that movie,
Mm-hmm.
Sin City, and more recently or more new age is Poker Face on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie's gory scenes were top notch. I mean, Dave Franco's jaw on that like middle
Yeah.
whatever table you want to call it was
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
And then even the testosterone use, which I feel like was the ultimate villain in this film,
Mm-hmm.
because you see that through that roid rage that they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like going forward, like this film, like snippets of this film could be used for Dare. Do you remember Dare? The people that would come
Yes.
to school, the drug abuse resistance
Mm-hmm. With the
education.
little lion on the
Um,
shirt.
yeah, so I feel like they could definitely like this would be enough to scare me straight. I would
Mm-hmm.
never touch testosterone after this film. Never thought about it before, but definitely 10 toes down. Never. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming it was testosterone, but they didn't say. But I believe that's what she was getting injected with. And
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely more with IMDb with their rating because at this point, Rotten Tomatoes is giving out A's like Oprah gives out gifts at a live show. I would give it 78% though because it's unlike anything I've ever watched. And I feel like if you can do
Mm-hmm.
that, you get kudos from me, you get points. So now that I've had time to like really sit with it, it's an unconventionally good movie. And I just want to know, like, how do you feel about it overall?
Yes. For one, why did I not realize that was Dave Franco until I looked at the cast? Like I was like, that's a Franco.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. But then like I watched half of it and then I started it over. And once I knew it was him, like he was grinning at Jackie in the car, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's that Franco grin. Like that's the Franco grin.
They all look so much alike. It's crazy.
Yes, yeah, that little cheesy grin. It's cute, but it's like their
It
signature
is.
look. But yeah, that mullet and mustache was really a disguise. I personally haven't seen Kristen Stewart in much other than the Twilights, so like
Yeah.
this performance from her for me like had me floored, just because again, her being Bella is nothing like
180.
this. What? Yes. So like, and then when she was sucking Jackie's toes, like I was
Yeah, there
just
was a lot of
shocked.
cringy. Yes, there was a lot of cringy scenes where I'm like, this is a lot.
And then like after Jackie killed JJ and Lou came to the house to see the aftermath of what he done, I literally what she had done, I literally said to myself, this is about to be a lesbian porn, Thelma and Louise. Like that's so stupid. I just knew that's where it was going to go.
You're like, this is where they're taking it. This is where it's headed.
But yeah, I mean, after like you said, sitting with it and seeing the whole thing, I did like it. It was just weird. It was really just weird.
It was very weird. And I like how you brought up about JJ being killed, which was played by Dave Franco. So Beth, who was married to JJ, was completely upset with her sister for killing her husband, played by Dave Franco, while she's literally in a coma. And it made me think of the film Enough with J-Lo in it, where J-Lo literally trained to kill her husband. And they shared a child. So I just was like curious as to what your thoughts were, like of what's different between J-Lo's character in Enough and Beth's character in this movie that like would make her want to keep her husband around when she's like literally in a coma. Like, do you think it's generational? Like, and what would you do? Are you more of a J-Lo or are you more of a Beth?
I don't think I've seen that J-Lo movie.
Oh, you have to see. It's really good. It's really
called
good.
Enough?
It's called Enough. She was
Okay.
Enough.
So I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
He was whooping her ass.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was whooping J-Lo's ass.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. So, but I hate to say like what I would or would not do in a situation because I really don't know unless I'm faced on it with it head on. I would love to say that I would. All he got is one time to hit me. I'm gonna fall on the floor and call every brother, my dad, stepdad, papa that I know. And yeah, but I can't say. But I do think that people do what they think that they are capable of doing. And I think in Beth's case, I think she was bonded by love. And I think she probably felt like she couldn't just leave the father of her 3 children.
Right.
And then the police to reveal that he was their informant this whole time. Did you catch that?
No.
Yeah. When they were
so he was going behind the dad's back.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I completely missed that. I thought the cop was in the dad's pocket. I thought they were working together. Like the cop was helping him cover up all the criminal stuff he was doing.
Oh wait, that one cop was in his pocket. But
then he was working with another cop.
Yes. So the cops that came to her house when she had drugged the FBI cop Daisy behind the couch. He was like, yeah, we end up losing our best informant when JJ died. Yes. So he was the informant the whole time.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes. So he revealed that they were the informant, and I was confused on the fact that Lou Sr. kept him employed knowing that he was beating on his daughter. But then I got the impression that Beth was a stay-at-home mom, and maybe Lou Sr. felt like by employing her husband, he was ensuring that his daughter had a stable income since she clearly was never going to leave this man. So I guess like in his mind, he was like, well, she's not about to leave him. So at least I can do is keep him employed so he can at least feed my child before he beats on her.
Right.
It's just crazy. But which one do you think you are? The J-Lo.
So before I answer that, I'm actually you made up a really good point about how you were confused why the dad knew and allowed her to still stay there or allowed her to still stay in the situation. And I think it's interesting because remember the cops were looking for the mom. So maybe he used to beat on their mother. We don't really know everything that was going on with that, but when you saying that just made me think of that.
That could be it. That could be it.
So maybe that's why he was like father, like son-in-law. I don't know though. But I feel like I want to be J-Lo. Like I feel like it would be like, yeah, you go like I would just keep remembering like, yeah, whip my ass tonight. Because when I come back, I'm making up for all of it. So yeah, bang me up because when I'm Karate Kid with it, you know what I mean? but I do feel like I would end up like Beth with my goofy ass. I would be in the hospital on the bed. And I definitely feel like my dad would be like Jackie though. Like I feel like if somebody was beating on me, my dad is going to handle it. like he's gonna handle it on my behalf, and it's just gonna be like, you're not about to hit his girls. Because like my dad doesn't even hit us. Like even when we were kids, like there was a rule, like when we got whoopings, like you don't touch the face. So like my parents have never slapped me, none of that. Like, so I definitely feel like I want to be J-Lo, but it would probably be for certainly giving bad. It would be giving bad. But I think that we can agree, you can tell me if we don't, but I think we can agree that getting under someone is not the quickest way to get over someone. Ultimately, I feel like Lou got Daisy killed. Do you think it was okay for Lou to pursue Daisy since her and Jackie broke up?
See, and I didn't get that. I didn't get that she was pursuing Daisy. But you did?
Yes, I think from I think because like she didn't necessarily pursue like as in like try to lock her down, but it was like in the beginning and she's cleaning the toilet. We see that she's completely not interested. Like Daisy's rubbing on that arm and she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." And the minute her and Jackie break up and Daisy does the same shit, she's legs open and ready. So I think from a technical standpoint, if you're broken up, you can get with whoever technically. But I feel like if you're under 30, that flies. But I feel like when you're older, like 30 plus, I think that there's like a week window where I feel like you should just kind of wait, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get back. So like, what was the point of doing that? So I just felt like Lou was very selfish. Like you're in the bathtub battling demons because you slept with the girl that always wanted you, that you never wanted. And I feel like a lot of times we need to heal alone, and we just like to distract ourselves from what we're like feeling. And that's why we do that. And I think it's definitely the harder thing to do, to heal alone. Although I feel like we think it's opposite. Like, but I just feel like codependency in general just leads to bad decisions.
Oh yeah, definitely. And see, okay, so for me, I got something different out of that. See, I thought Lou only slept with Daisy because Daisy had the leverage. Because like, if I'm remembering correctly, like she pulled up to her house and Daisy was already there waiting on her, and she kind of just let her in. And then like that's when Daisy kind of said like why was she driving your car? You were driving.
Oh yeah.
So it was like she was hinting like, I got this information on you. So when she was in the bathtub, I think I felt like, for me, I think that they were just like friends with benefits prior to, and Lou.
You think so?
Yeah, because the way she
So
felt
you
so
think she had
comfortable.
Lou's ass before?
I think so. Like, I think maybe they were just sleeping together. I don't think she really liked her, but I think she was sleeping with her. Because just the way she was with her, she was really like touchy and stuff, which I felt like someone who has been with me in that way would be, versus someone who's just trying to like get with me. So I think when she was in the tub, she was kind of just like realizing how effed up they were and how the situation got it, and that she was just there to appease Daisy. Because even Lou Senior told little Lou, "I handled your problem," and then Lou was responded like, "You told her to do that," but they were talking about Jackie shooting Daisy, and then Big Lou says she was your last connection to JJ. So basically, he had Jackie go over there and kill Daisy because Daisy was the last person to see her driving JJ's car the day. Yeah. So, like, originally, if you just look at the scene, looks like Jackie kills Daisy out of jealousy, but
yes, that's
she was instructed to do it. Yeah, she was instructed to do it by Lou. But I feel like she probably didn't mind because the target was sleeping with her girlfriend. But I honestly do think that Lou was only with Daisy because she felt like she had to like come up to her, because Daisy was basically the person keeping her out of jail at that point.
Very true. Very true. And I felt like Jackie was literally in shambles, full crash out in the relationship. And I feel like the relationship made her so unlike herself. And she literally on the tennis court wishes that she never met Lou. And I just was wondering, like, do you feel like in relationships, when we act out, is it due to circumstance, or is it who we are innately? Like, this is just who you were anyways. Or do you think it's both?
Well, in Jackie's case, I think Jackie was just always looking for some form of validation. Because, like, she left her house, like, maybe because she did like girls. And then, like, she's doing this whole bodybuild thing. She wants to go to competition. She wants to win. So I felt like she was just looking for validation. And then she found it in Lou. So then when it wasn't working out, it just killed her, because that's just what she was seeking. But as far as me personally, I think it's both. Like, I think I've handled some situations in the past immaturely that didn't warrant the reaction that I gave at all. But like now, lots of therapy and self-control, I feel like things that should I need to crash out about, and old me would have crashed out about, I'm more chill. Because I
Yeah.
don't know. So I think it's both. I think it's a little bit of both. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I've always wondered about this, and I've
Mm-hmm.
reacted differently across the board when
Mm-hmm.
hurt in relationships. Like overall, I feel like I'm not an outwardly emotional person, but
Mm-hmm.
I've had about two crash outs.
They happen. It
I've
happens to the
had
best
two
of
crash
us.
outs. I've had two crash outs or accidents. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the liquor was the main problem though. Like the liquor definitely got the best of my emotions. And I feel like if I was sober, it wouldn't have had me I don't feel like I would have been so bent out of shape about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would have been more emotionally grounded. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. I think it's both. Like innately, I wouldn't spaz, but the circumstance of me drinking has
Yes.
now created a situation where I'm yelling about astrological signs or crying profusely at a
Oh
field
my
day
God.
picnic over the fact that you're just not responding. Like, and it doesn't even make sense. I really should put the bottle down forever, but I'm not going to do that. I just have learned that I need to have a full stomach when I drink. I just need to have a full stomach. You cannot drink on an empty stomach. And like sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
think that like, oh, I'm going to be the outlier and it'll be okay. And it's
Mm-hmm.
never okay.
So weak. The fact that you're a Taurus talking about other people's astrology signs is what's sending me.
Yes. Yes. I'll tell you, like, you're not a real Taurus. Like, I'll never forget that.
So I've
That needs
heard
to
you
be
say that.
merch.
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and patent that.
I I need
Copyright.
to go ahead and get
Yeah.
merch that says you're not
Mm-hmm.
a real Taurus.
Mm-hmm. We just heard this in person. Oh my
No,
God.
literally. I'm like, you're not a real Taurus.
So last question I'm gonna ask you is what did you make of
Okay.
Jackie turning into this big Hulk-like figure?
I cringed every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Like something about veins poking out just makes my stomach flip. And I think some people are attracted to that. Like I think some people when they're working out, they want to see the veins. Like I think
Yeah.
women like seeing the veins. To me, it's equivalent to like nails on a chalkboard or like a box filled with styrofoam and you open it up and it makes that noise. Like it
That noise.
literally every time she like got excited and that thing pulsed, I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, I can't. How did it make you
Mm-hmm.
feel?
So at first I thought it was like a supernatural movie because like it shows her
Yeah.
like after she beats up JJ, she's like as big as the ceiling. So I'm like, is she turning into something else? But then like I was watching with Vlad and he was like, he doesn't believe she's actually looks that big. It's more so how she feels about herself. Like she
Mm,
feels big and strong. And I'm like,
that's
okay,
a
I can see
good
that.
perspective.
Yeah. So then it kind of confirmed it, like not the last scene, but like the scene where her and Lou are
Mhm.
running and Lou's also big. So I'm like, okay, this can't be a
Yes.
supernatural movie because Lou is not on steroids. So it
Yes.
just must be her perception of how they are. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like how you
I
feel on the
definitely thought.
drugs.
I definitely thought it was a supernatural movie, and like this was some. I didn't know. I honestly did not know where this was going from the beginning to the end.
No, literally twists and turns on every like I didn't know what the hell was going on,
Yes.
but it was unconventionally
Hmm.
different and that's what I think made it good.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
moving on to our viewers recommended watch.
Okay, so this was Your Honor, which we did last week, but season 2 is what we're doing today. And the description is a respected judge's son is involved in a hit and run that leads to a high stake games of lies, deceit, and impossible choices. The series was suggested by both Shael and Shayla. Instagram for Shael is Shael_Shael, and then Shayla X Ray. We gave the notes for season 1 from Shael last episode, and then today, Shayla gave her notes for today. Season 2 starts off with a withered Judge Desiato in prison refusing to eat.
Okay.
You just go ahead and jump in with what you and Shayla thought.
Okay. So one of Shayla's biggest issues with season 2 were the storylines. She said the first one that she had a problem with was she said Fia deciding to go no contact with her family after having her baby. She understood why she did this, but she felt that it had no connection to the storyline.
I'm sorry, but I have been tired of Fia Baxter since season 1. I've been so tired of her ass. And it's so sad because it's not even her fault. Like, no one tells her anything. So she's literally
Yeah.
just going with the flow with this fake attempt to be a strong, independent, good person. But it's just so, like, I don't know. I was just tired of seeing her on my screen.
Yeah. I agreed with Shayla with this because at the point that this started, she had no clue that like when she cut contact, she didn't even know at this point that Adam was the one who killed her brother.
Or if they had
So
done any of the bad stuff that she heard, she had no
yeah.
confirmation. Yeah,
So it didn't make sense to me. Like nothing at the end of season 1 or the start of season 2 made sense for her to isolate her family, in my opinion. Like, I feel like she knew they were up to things. Like, she heard the rumors, but she was, like you said, just like naive. I also found it laughable. Like, you're isolating your family, but you have no job. I haven't even seen you attempt to do a job interview.
Not at all.
And she felt like boycotting maid services was showing her independence.
Again, the fake attempt of being a good independent person. And one of her parents, I believe it was her mom, Gina, was like, yes, you're so independent. You moved out your parents' house into their hotel. And I was weak because like she had a point. Like, girl, you literally moved out of our house into another building that we own.
Right.
Suits, girl, please. But I'm so glad that they finally told her the truth about Adam and who really killed Carlo. Like,
Yes,
I was waiting on
I agree
that
with
since season 1. And I'm like, y'all gonna wait till the 10th episode of the second season to finally do that.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely drawn out. Her second storyline that she had a problem with was she didn't like Michael working with the cop to take down the Baxter family. She did like that. So she thought Michael working with the cop to take down the Baxter family was the best storyline of the season and the most important. She wanted to see Eugene and Michael make amends earlier in the season so that they could work together to take down the mob. She felt like their teamwork would have given the season more edge than the route that they decided to go, since Michael knew the real reason why Eugene's family was killed.
Right. I mean, I guess maybe I can see that because I did feel like the beginning of the season was slow. So maybe if they did that, it would have kept the pace the same as the first season as far as excitement goes. But then at the same time, I feel like neither Michael or Eugene had any power themselves
to make a difference.
to really make a difference. So I think it kind of had to play out how it played out.
Yeah. I get what she's saying, but I don't agree with the Michael Eugene combo. I wish they would have taken like the ending scenes and made them the beginning. Like, I feel like the second season should have opened up with both Eugene and Michael in jail, and with Lee working with Eugene, and then Gina offering Michael the plea deal. Like, I wanted to see like side by side, like Gina's talking to Michael, Lee's talking to Eugene, and we're gonna like kind of see which way it goes. Because the way Michael was in jail, to me, it just, how did no one ask any questions? Like, no reporters are like I feel like that would have been big news if Judge Desiato was taken in for questioning and never left. Like, I found that very odd that like this man was in jail. People knew he was in jail. It didn't even get out. Like, the people weren't like, because to me, nothing, once again, based on the information we knew from season 1, nothing gave that he should be in jail. So I don't understand how people didn't think anything like, oh, why is he in jail? Like, that to me was very, very odd.
Yeah. So, okay. So you're saying that, because you said you'd rather the season start with Eugene being in jail too. So you think like his being a normal kid in Houston was unnecessary?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wanted it to play out differently. Like, I wanted it to be those two scenes, and then like, let's say Eugene goes to court, wins, then that would be his end. Like, he gets on the bus, goes to live with the aunt.
Oh.
Versus the way they did it of like him being sent there, then coming back. Like, I think it should have, like, if anything, like, I think what they could have did was when Eugene shot and ran, he could have ran to try to get on a bus, then that dirty cop shoot him, then it go to trial, then he get out, then go to Auntie's house. Like, I don't know, I just felt like it could have been rearranged better.
I just think, okay, if it would have went that way, they would have killed him in prison. Like, whether it be Desire put the hit out on him or the Baxters, they would have killed him in prison. And I think the reason he wasn't killed in prison this last time was because he had that surgery and they had him isolated. And Lee had him. That's the only thing.
Yeah, and he was screaming his name.
Right.
I'm Eugene.
Yeah, because I was like, what are they going to do? I was like, Lee, turn around. Like, how you don't leave this boy's side at all. I don't care. You arguing with that.
Me too. I was
that
like,
little fake police, top flight security police. Come over here with this man that needs you. But yeah. All right. What else Shayla say?
Okay, so the next storyline was Eugene's family and the gas leak. She thought Eugene was never going to get justice for what the mob
Right.
did to his family.
Mm-hmm.
But she was actually excited to see a good payout for that storyline.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely love this. I think Lee was representing him. I really loved the banter, the courtroom talk. Like this is a really good court show. Because I mean, I've watched a lot of court shows, but like they really were getting into objection, all these different objections that I had never even heard of. So like they were not playing with each other. So Lee, I really felt like she was representing him. And shout out to Michael for finally like assisting, finally, the first time in his life.
Right.
But what was crazy to me was the fact that Eugene did not realize the gas thing a little sooner. Like your family been without gas for 2 months.
Right.
And then
literally.
And then someone says your mama died because y'all had a gas leak. 2 months you ain't been able to cook in your house. So how did that not like send a red flag? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He had a lot going on, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And he's still a kid, but he knew he couldn't cook for 2 months. And then they're gonna say a gas leak. Literally 7 weeks they said that gas was off.
Maybe he was making oodles and noodles in the microwave. I don't know. Maybe he didn't need the stove. He got used to cooking in that microwave.
Yeah, he forgot all about it.
No, literally. But I loved this too. And I love how Fia got to see how her dad literally lied to her face. And it just goes to show that her dad either thought it wouldn't get out or he thought that Fia wasn't going to stand 10 toes down on like never speaking to him again.
Yeah, Fia was finally catching up with the rest of society in the real reality. Like that's just really what it was. Because again, like I said, for the past 2 seasons, she has been living in delusion. From her first initial contact with Adam, him lying of how he even knew Rocco. Like it's just been one big ball of delusion, and she's finally seeing the real reality, not just her perception of it.
Right. Another storyline that she felt was the most unnecessary storyline was Desire. She felt there was no point in adding the plot of them trying to find a new supplier and then Eugene taking the money. She felt it was just another storyline to make Eugene look like the villain. And she felt like this was the worst storyline of the season, in her opinion.
I think from a writer standpoint, they needed to add this storyline to beef up the episodes to give us the full 10. Now, I do think that the Chris trying to overthrow Big Mo was a bit unnecessary, especially since it was unsuccessful. Like, okay, I think if he was able to overthrow her, that would have opened up more for a season 3 because now it has, all right, Chris. And then if Lil Mo would have sided with Chris, or even if he didn't side with Chris, it now gives the Mo's a reason to still be here for the next season. But the fact that they just killed him and it just returned back to normal, I feel like it was unnecessary. Y'all didn't have to do any of that. The little boy dying, like all of that was just
I felt opposite of Shayla. I actually liked this storyline. It helped connect why Lil Mo is on the front cover at times on Netflix, because I would see him on there and I'm like, he has no, like after season 1, I'm like, he really has no presence.
Right.
So that kind of tied the knot for me of like why he's actually like on the, when you go to like Netflix Your Honor, you see Lil Mo. But I love this edition. It had me rooting for him to turn on Big Mo. Because I didn't like how she did. Like, I felt like Big Mo had no emotions, and that pissed me off.
At all.
And I was rooting for him when he messed up getting the money from the cartel back to her. It made me want to know more. Like, that whole, like, episode made me want to know more because clearly both of the women are his aunts, but none of them are his mom. So I'm like, did y'all have a sister or a brother that died? And I feel like if they do decide to continue this in season 3, I hope they touch on it or at least address it.
Because like especially with like her being Big Mo and him Little Mo, I thought that was his mom originally. But then, it came out that she was his aunt. So yeah, the familiar connections really confused me a little bit. I think they should have elaborated more in the second season. They definitely should have done that because it's like he just came out of nowhere. He just their nephew, but yet he's a key part of her drug crime organization.
So the last storyline that she mentioned was that she felt Fia finding out Adam killed her brother was a storyline she could get behind. She felt it did get confusing that the rest of the mob knew this and decided to keep the information from Fia. She felt like Fia's character was intended to be a brat who usually obeys her family, but that all changed when Adam died, as it should have.
Mm-hmm.
Her giving up her baby gave Shayla mixed emotions. She wants to give Fia grace by thinking about what it's like to be in her shoes and concludes that it was probably pretty hard.
Yeah. Fia. Fia to me was just an ignorant surrogate. Like at this point,
Not
that's
an
what
ignorant surrogate.
That literally at this point, that's what I'm concluding. She was ignorant surrogate. That was literally her role. They sheltered her. Her decisions were not based on real facts or anything. I thought it was crazy that she gave the baby up. I mean, I guess I just didn't understand the reason. Like she was already not talking to her family. So she's already on that path. Michael literally gave her the money.
I forgot about that. Yep.
So it's not like he gave her the money for her to take Rocco to start elsewhere, which she's essentially still doing just without Rocco. So I don't understand what changed in her situation so much to make her give him away. And then she did it after they bonded. Like it'd be different if she gave birth and gave him away like shortly after she gave birth. Right. But this baby knows you now. Like
yes, right.
Your mommy. He knows just the two of you. It's not like y'all had a dad. He had Adam. Then he lost Adam. He only knows his mommy. Barely know grandma.
Right, because you in that damn hotel room, isolated from your family.
So like I don't understand what changed to make her give him away. Like I think that just really shocked me because girl, what?
No, I get that. Yeah, with Shayla's point, I agree and disagree. Similar with Eugene, I like where they went with it. I just think it should have occurred earlier in the series. I also did find it confusing because they didn't want her around Michael. But simple solution would have been to just have told her the truth. Because the minute she found out the truth, she dissociated herself from Michael.
Right.
So I bet she wouldn't have even been trying to be pen pals anymore if she had known that he had, that Adam was the reason why her brother was dead. I also agree that the Fia character did the predictable thing a kid would do when they get pregnant. But I felt like she didn't even try, like even once, to really be a single mom and get a job and get away from her family. At the end of the day, the baby is from Adam and Fia, and now Rocco has 0 parents, and Adam didn't have a choice. Fia did. Like, Adam's dead. Fia's alive and well, and I feel like she's just delaying the inevitable because she's never going to be at peace, and baby Rocco isn't going to forget the abandonment. All I can do is just pray that under the mom's leadership that he does not become Carlo 2.0.
Right. Hopefully he feels... I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't. I just do not understand at all. And then I know she didn't want him to be in the Baxter family, but to give a baby away that has a full family, like she could have gave him to Elizabeth. If that was the case, Elizabeth was innocent. She didn't know anything. She found out about Michael.
Yeah. And she would have she would have took care of that baby.
So you're literally giving up a baby. And again, like, Fia had the resources. I feel like her family still would have gave her money even if she did not want to deal with them. And she's literally giving this baby away as if she had no options and the baby had nobody that was going to be willing to take care of him. And it just it just blew my mind. But yeah.
So in conclusion, if Shayla could describe this season in 2 words, she said it would be hot mess.
Not hot mess.
She said if it's renewed for a 3rd season, she will not be wasting her time and participating in watching it. She felt season 1 was very enjoyable and all the storylines made sense. She felt the only reason season 2 got renewed was because of how good season 1 was. How did you feel about this season and how did you feel it was compared to season 2?
So I do agree. Season 1 was amazing. Season 2 was good, but not as good as season 1. And there better not be a 3rd season. There better not be a 3rd season. There's no storylines left. Like,
really?
You really have to go. I mean, everything literally is resolved. Michael back in jail. Mo is happy with what she's got. She's got her territory that she wanted down in the French Quarter.
Yeah.
Gina is now the head of her. She set her dad up. She got her husband shot and set her dad up, sent her dad to jail. So she has no choice but to be the head of the family, which is what she wanted. The only person that's probably not happy is Jimmy, but he doesn't have any backing to really be able to do with anything. Like do anything to come back against his wife because he was really moving off the muscle of his father-in-law's name and his wife's
Yeah.
name. So, I mean, what's that child's name? Eugene is in witness protection. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't know. They would
Where
really
they can
have to
go
come
from
with a
there.
fresh batch of people. Like, you know how like White Lotus does. If they want to continue
Yeah.
this, it's going to have to be a whole new case with whole new people. Maybe Lee can represent somebody else, but they cannot keep with these characters because they just going to run it in the mud and people are going to be sick of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Unpopular opinion. I liked
mhm,
season 2. I thought it was written well. I
mhm,
feel like Shayla is expecting action from a series that's more of a drama. Like I don't think it was ever
mhm,
meant to be action packed. I think that just set the tone, but I really feel like it was a drama. I felt like it was intended to be more of a slow burn.
mhm.
I was more intrigued this season than I was season 1. And
Oh,
I feel like
really?
because season 1 just had me so irritated because I just felt like it was so stupid. Like what man kills somebody's brother then pursues their sister? Like I
Yeah,
just
Adam was off the
it
chain.
just seemed so far-fetched and so stupid. He was getting on my nerves, like how he was like
Mhm,
the way he was treating his dad. Like I don't know, like season 1 just irritated the hell out of me. So I don't know. He really irked my nerves, and I just felt like in season 2 there wasn't that stupidity had been eliminated.
mhm. No, I do get that. Season 2 started slow, but I definitely do feel like it picked back up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, season 1 is still just my favorite. I
Yeah.
just keep saying it better not be a third season. That's what I'm saying. It better not be a third season. Because I'm
So
with
I
Shayla. I
just
don't think I watched.
really, so I just feel like every season so far, season
Mm-hmm.
1, season 2 ends with death. And
Mm-hmm.
well, in this case, we thought Jimmy was dead because he was popped up. But of course, it ends with him opening his eyes, and that was a plot twist.
Right.
And I feel like, let's say they do keep it going, even though you and Shayla would like them to not. I actually
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't mind if they kept going. I'm probably with the 20% that like wants them to keep going, and I feel like most people probably agree
Probably
with
more
y'all.
like a 8%.
Oh sugar puffs, not 8% is crazy. Um, but if it, let's say it does hypothetically go to season 3, who do you think is next up on the chopping block or to die?
And see, I think that's what's confusing because I don't see any of the
You don't
remaining
see it.
characters having any competition. Like,
Yeah.
who would kill Mo? Lil Mo
Yeah.
clearly is still on her side. I mean,
Yeah.
unless they do something crazy like have the guy she killed's mom come out of nowhere and try to take her down because she lost both of her sons to Lil
Yeah.
Mo. Like that's the only enemy she has right now.
Yeah.
Even like Mrs. Baxter, like who would kill her? Carlo was happy
Yeah.
with where he's like she's promoted him. He's
His
happy. They grinning walking down the
right, new
street.
top dog.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. I don't know who would even be left to be killed. All the bad cops are gone, except for that
Yeah.
one Cusack. I think maybe they didn't really say
Yeah.
what happened to him. But yeah, the bad cops are gone. So I
Yeah.
really just don't know who is left.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say Michael, but his death would be in vain because he's already told on himself. Like you said, he's already
Right.
back in jail. But I thought maybe they'll start the season by saying he passed from grief. But I think if someone were to die next season, it would have to either be the wife or Big Mo, just because the
Mm-hmm.
way the season ended, it was like women on top. Like it was like, all right, the women
Mm-hmm.
are in business, where the whole season they were kind of struggling to have their say and like really have control. And I feel like the season ended with them having control. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I felt like Desire's storyline was needed, because both of the women ended up being at on top and got what they wanted.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are feeling the way y'all felt, and I don't think it's going to get a season 3. But
Yeah.
hypothetically, if it does, those are my
Your
predictions.
picks. Yeah. And I think the show would be smart if they left it like with the women on top. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think because I think
True.
sometimes
I would have resolve with that. I'm cool with that.
yeah, because I think sometimes shows they keep trying to go on and it just makes everything all muddied and it just the quality just drops because now y'all just making up stuff to try to get these 10
Right.
episodes and it just does not make sense.
No,
So
1,000%.
yeah, I think, they just leave it. Or I mean, I'm open to a spin-off. I'm always open
Yeah.
to a spin-off, but like as far as these same characters keep moving on, I think they wrapped it up pretty nicely for me.
What about part 1 and part 2? Season 3, final season, part 1 and part 2, both an hour long each.
So just 2 episodes?
Just 2 episodes. Part 3 is just 2 episodes, 2 long episodes, maybe an hour and a half each, just to conclude the whole season.
But
to
what would they
conclude it
be
all.
doing? Like, what exactly would they be doing? That's the thing. Like, because Jimmy Baxter would have to wake up and come after his
Maybe
wife.
they fast forward time and Rocco's grown and he finds, like, I don't know, maybe Rocco and Jimmy team
Okay.
up. I don't know.
So yeah, I would consider that more of a spin-off. Then
Okay,
we
more of a
could go
spinoff.
from
Okay.
there. Okay, yeah, I
Okay.
could see that. If Rocco is grown, then that's a whole new
Mhm.
set of characters, a whole new
True.
situation.
Yeah.
So I could deal with that. But like as for now, and I like the show, so it's not like I don't
Yeah.
want it to keep, but it's like I just
Yeah.
really
They
do
gotta figure
not
something
know
else out.
what they would do. The only thing possibly would be Jimmy and Mr. Carmine, whatever his name is, the dad, his father-in-law. They might
Teaming
can come
up.
together on that trifling Gina.
Yes, Gina is out of control. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
that would be good if it's the father-in-law, the
Yeah,
son-in-law,
it's
and
the
the
only thing.
grandson, and they become like a big three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or I guess I'm in my writing bag now. Miss Janelle, Miss
Who's Miss
Janelle
Janelle?
seduces Mo's fiance,
Oh,
that Big
the
Mo's fiance.
singer who called it
Yes,
off, who called off
yeah,
didn't accept the engagement. Yeah, yes.
right. And if she do some treacherous stuff like seducing Big Mo, and then that could open up for something. But other than that, I don't see who else.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I just want
I
to say
feel it.
that Charlie Figueroa,
Got the wife
he
killed.
he is just,
He's the
but
biggest
you know
villain of
what?
all. He's the villain of this whole series.
But you know what's funny? He plays that role so well because I know you didn't watch The Wire, right? He
No,
was
but
a
he put
crooked politician in The Wire too. Like that's
damn.
just his role. Like that is literally his
That's his
role.
identity.
Yes, that is his identity.
Mm.
But yeah. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up episode 6. Now, moving forward to next week's watch list, we have Utopia, which is a series on Prime, and it's only one season, so I think it's a limited series. That has been recommended by, I'm pretty sure this is Nicole. She ain't got her name on here, but a girl went to school named Nicole. But her Instagram is Confetti Cosmetics. I'm a double confirm. I'm like 95% sure I'm talking to Nicole when I'm DMing about this. So Nicole recommended that. Now fix it. We have Unfrosted, which is on Netflix, and that is actually an Emmy nominated film. And I had to look that up because I'm like, it's a film, so how is it Emmy nominated? But it was a film made for television. So that's how it's being up for the Emmys. And the last
Okay.
one is The Iron Claw, which is on HBO Max. And I'm excited to see that because it has Jeremy Allen White in it. And I have not
from The
really seen
Bear.
him, in anything but The Bear.
Else.
So
Yep.
I'm interested to see how he do.
All right, guys. Until next week, thank you so much for your support. We love you guys so much. And bye, Scripties. Have a great week.
Bye.